Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, usually here with Mike Kelly, and I've been sitting here waiting for him and then realizing he's not coming today. He has something else, a personal thing to take care of. I know it's not court. Uh, I would tell you that if it was. Anyway, let's get moving, shall we? So, what does that mean when he's not here? It's just the facts, Jack. That's right. All right, what do we have today? We have some. Get away from me there, sir. All right. Right now, the stock market's down 298, 296, going all over the place. The rates are better by 7 basis points. Woohoo, what does that mean? Not much. The 10-year sitting at 4.21, opened at 4.22. So it's going the right way, but we need to get it to go below 420 and stay there and close, and then we'll start moving the right way. And that's what we're waiting on. Can you go away? I don't need you to quit. There you go. All right. What else do we have going on? What was coming up today? FHFA, Case-Shiller, and also ADP weekly employment data. So let's start with, all right, the Fed's going to be talking tomorrow, but they start their 2-day meeting today. That's right, it's today. And then tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll get their statement, followed by Fed chair press conference. Pretty much everybody's thinking there's going to be no rate reduction at all, and hopefully they don't increase it. All right, what else? We have ADP weekly employment data that came out today. ADP reports shows only 7,750 jobs added per week in the 4 weeks ending January 3rd. This holds January ADP monthly report could just show about 30,000 job gains. Notably, so that's like job creation continues to be mostly from education and healthcare. We don't want it from government. We want it from the private sector. This is a softening trend showing that, hey, the economy's not doing amazing. They're not adding, but we're not losing as many, but they're just not adding as much. And that has probably a lot to do with the AI and everything else that's been going on. We'll know more as each month goes on and on and on. All right, so we had 2 appreciation data coming out today saying how homes have appreciated. First one is Case-Shiller, and that is all homes, any jumbo, everything else, and that is showing a 0.4 of a monthly over month seasonally adjusted, so 0.4 increase. Which is better than they expected. And the year over year is still up 1.4%. This sounds pretty bad when we only have houses appreciation nationwide at 1.4%. But that's still a positive. Even at what we've been through for the last 5 years with inflation and everything else, we're still positive. That's how I look at it. This marks the 4th consecutive month of adjusted gains, reversing a 5-month decline. So prior to this, we saw declines. Now we're starting to see going the other way. Rate drop. I said, well, that's been a while. I might as well get them all out. Right. So, okay, I got them all out. We're done. All right. Rate drops last year sparked buyer demand. This is what they're saying. I saw a really good December. They're saying it wasn't so great, but I saw a really good one. And January is turning into a really good month also. Rate drops last sparked demand. We're seeing this trend reflect even with raw data showing a small 1/10 adjusted dip. That's okay. During that period of time, usually November, December, we see a decrease in stuff. And luckily, with the drop in the rates, it actually didn't go that decrease. It was still positive. What are you jumping up and down for? Go away. My word is just jumping up and down saying, look at me, look at me. All right, what else? FHFA house price index. That is only single family homes with conforming loans. That means anything under, I think, 835 and below. I'm sure somebody else can go get that number for me and show how important they are. That showed a 0.6 month over month seasonally adjusted, stronger than expected. Year over year is up 1.9%, pretty close to the Case-Shiller number. That has been revised up from the 1.7% the month before. Bottom line, you're looking at rates are supporting appreciation, even though home builders have pulled back on supply. And again, they need their housing number to be above 50 and really in the 60s, which we'll have that here. I don't know, the next week, I think, to show that they need those numbers so much higher in order for them to build amount of homes. They're giving those homes away. What I mean about giving those homes away, when they give you $25,000 to buy the rate down and then also work with brokers, that means they have trouble. When they're not giving you money for buying the rate down and they don't work with brokers, they don't have a problem, and they huge demand. And I think we're going to see that this year. I know we've been saying it for a while, but I think we're really going to see it. So they were talking about using 401ks for down payment, proposed to take money out of there for, buying homes. Well, I guess Trump has poured some cold water on that proposal for penalty-free 401k withdrawals for down payment. Right now, you can do about 10,000 on average for taking out your 401k to use for your towards a house, but usually that's not enough for a down payment for most places where people are buying. It doesn't say why. He just said he's not a fan. I'm sure a lot of the 401k people were like, no, we don't want him to do that because it's going to take the money out of the market and they're not going to be able to. I think home purchasing is the way to go for most people. It builds equity that they would not normally have by just making a monthly payment. Yes, right now it's going to cost more to get into a home in your monthly payment than what you're used to. That's how it's always been, except for 2020. 21 and 22, where first it was like it's cheaper than buying and then renting, then it was the same as renting, and then it was more than renting. That's how it always have been. I talk about this a lot of time about the HECM for purchase, which is a reverse mortgage to help seniors sell their current home and then buy the next home as like a downsizing and be able to put on average 50 to 60% down and then keep the residual and never have to make another payment for the rest of their life. A lot of people don't like it. I get it. It's not for everybody, but it is for some people. So just because other people don't like it doesn't mean you shouldn't look at it. And it just, for most people, they don't do what we tell them to do, which is have savings and money into retirement, max all that out before you put extra money on their house. They do it the opposite way. They pay off their house and then they don't have enough money in all the other things. And that's what they have to use their house for, is that retirement. It keeps like that today. State Farm lawsuit. I don't know if you saw this. They move forward. They're looking at, they allege that they underpaid on wind, hail claims, and bad faith practices. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this might get me in trouble. My son is having issues with USAA. A tree fell down on his house 4 months ago up in Washington State, and they looked at it and they said, oh, it's about $8,000. Here's your $3,000 because you have a $5,000 deductible. They got the people out there to start working on it, and it ballooned up to 98,000 because 3 of the trusses are cracked and a bunch of other stuff. Then USA came back out and said, here's a check for another $30,000, but not enough to really fix everything. And so he's been going back and forth and having to get other people involved. When you have insurance, just understand that they're not just going to cut a check. They're like everything else. They want to pay out as little as possible. And I'm tired of seeing the USAA advertisements that say they were there for veterans and they started a company because people wouldn't, do insurance for military people. But we're here for you. Well, guess what? They might be here for you to take your payment, but when you need them, they're not always there for you. And I hope this gets back to USAA so they can reach out and help my son, because it's ridiculous. He's also supposed to transfer here shortly, and now that's going to mess up all that. There's been a couple of companies that have class action lawsuits against them. I think Zillow was one, and now Rocket, about steering home buyers. That's a violation of RESPA, steering it to your mortgage company, steering it to other. You can't do that. That is a violation. I don't want to get into the whole law, but it's something you need to be careful of. So just make sure you're not doing that. I'm not saying these companies did it. I'm just putting the information out there that's been out there. But when you offer them to go to your people, so they were pushed into supposedly less favorable loans, and agents were incentivized to funnel buyers through their Rocket platform. I can see that agents usually get extra money, or they get this, whatever it is. You can't do that. That's just wrong. We have to sign a piece of paper as a broker that we're not steering people into higher rate interest rates. We don't get paid on the interest rate. We get paid on the loan amount, and that's how we don't steer people. All right, what else do we have today? It went away. Where did it go? All right, let me go back over here. Let you know we have a couple more things coming out this week. And I will tell you what that is in a second because it was moved away. All right. So Wednesday, we have mortgage applications, Fed meeting, and the statement, as I said earlier. Thursday's initial jobless claims, productivity, and unit labor costs. And Friday is PPI again, producer price index. Wow, that stuff's coming. That means CPI will be on probably Monday or Tuesday. I'll let you know when we get closer to Friday because I haven't looked. That just keeps telling, more and more. Why are so many of these reports coming out? Because the government was shut down and they weren't able to do the reports. They're putting them out now as they have them. That's really all I have today. I can't believe I went for 10 minutes over that stuff. Bottom line, employment is stable. It's not going through the roof. And that's what we want. We want to build private companies up, not government up. And that's the difference. So we're going to see it. And then also with AI, we're going to be more productive, which is a good thing. A lot of people think that AI is going to change everything. I don't. I think it's going to falter in about 2 years because it's going to learn everything that's been said and done up to that point. And until we create more stuff, us humans, it's going to get stuck. So it's going to do a lot, but it's not going to do everything. It's the same thing that people said about .coms in the 90s. I know most of you probably were born or not even around then. They said that would change everything. It would be this and this. And it did change some things, but it didn't change. And it's always that way with new things that come out. It's always going to make these changes. And then it all settles down because everybody spent all this money to go towards it. I think it's important. Don't get me wrong. But I think most people are going to want to talk to an actual person and not an actual AI person. So that's just my take on it. Plus, I'm in a different industry. Maybe answering a phone call for a store or something is not a big deal. But I'd much rather talk to AI than press 1 for sales, press 2 for accounting. Anyway, that's just my take on it. All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. So will Mike. I won't be here on Thursday, but Mike won't be either because if I'm not here, he's not here. And if you have any questions or comments or want talk about anything, reach out to us. You can find us through any of our direct messages. If you like what we do here, subscribe on my YouTube channel, Ed Parcaut. And then, I don't even know if Mike has one, but we also have the Real Estate Jerky where a lot of people are watching this on right now. All right, everybody, make it a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.